What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 4. We are back with something a little bit different today, and basically what I want to talk about today is the Eliminator. Now, why don't we play the Eliminator? Because I don't like it very much, and I don't know, I don't find it very entertaining either, so I don't really care about it. Anyway, basically what I want to talk about is A, why do I not like the Eliminator? B, what do I hope is better in the Eliminator in Forza Horizon 5 from what we already know. I mean, we do know it comes back. And the last thing is, and I probably won't do them in that order, as drive against the house while talking. This is why the bus has the sign "Don't talk to the driver", because talking and driving is a bad idea. Anyway, third thing I want to talk about, and not necessarily in that order because these points kind of mix and match with each other, is what do I have in mind on how the formula could have been better or could have improved, full well knowing that that's not going to change anything. I kind of have to catch up here a little bit. Anyway, the first thing is I am not a big fan of the Eliminator. Why? Well, the map and the game was clearly not made for it. You can tell it came after the release. And basically the map, and a friend put this nicely, is very corridory. And you have these big batches of trees, you have lakes that just cut off big areas and kind of turn the map into bits and pieces in which you can drive and that have connecting roads. But that's about it. Really, in the Eliminator, since you're just given a destination, it doesn't really work that way in my opinion, because the map was clearly not made for getting through the map just straight from point A to point B, and obviously if you go on a regular route, like on the roads or something, it also won't work because no, that's not because you're just going to be way too slow against someone who manages to more or less get through the wilderness. And you obviously have areas where you can just go straight from point A to point B and it's not too big of a problem, like say the wind farm area. But you also have areas with the thick trees and forests and the lake and the west of the map. It's just, there are areas in the map or some of the hills and cliffs where you basically get stuck in a point and you need to traverse and try to figure out a way to actually get to the point you're going to. There are so many cutoff points where it just doesn't become very enjoyable. And I mean, obviously another thing about that you're always going to have in a game mode like that is it's very possible you spawn and then you just get kicked out by a level 8 Audi R8 or something. Like, that happens every now and then, but you know, when you start a new round then it should be fine, but whatever, that's not too big of a deal. It's just obviously a little bit annoying, but what can you do, you know, that's just a side effect of the game mode, and it's part of why I don't like game modes like that, but that's just, well, that's just me. The car pickups, they don't have the variety I would hope for, and some cars are just straight up useless. Also within the tiers, they are not necessarily very balanced. I also think some cars that are rated highly are fairly useless because they are pure road cars. And when you try to stick to the road against an equally quick car that can do some off-roading, you're usually going to lose because there is a quicker way that goes off the road. So that is a bit of a problem there. Now, what I hope for is that in Horizon 5 that's not going to be the case, because obviously the game mode is going to be implemented right at the start and the map is designed with the game mode in mind. Obviously in Horizon 4 the map was designed and then the game mode came in, and as we all know, these kind of battle royale game modes, they had to be in everything. And well, that's the result we got, and I'm not a big fan of it, and it's just also not a big fan of the achievements related to it, but that might just be me. It's just a crapshoot. Like, defeat a car 5 levels above you. Now, first of all, you need to find one, then you need to drive a crappy car, obviously, because the other guy has to have 5 levels above. So if you're driving a level 6 car, that's impossible. I'm sorry. And, I mean, it's doable, but A, you need to find someone, and B, you need to hope he makes a mistake, or else he just blows you out of the water. Sorry. I am very sorry. And that's basically the gist behind it. I mean, when you make something like that an achievement, it's more or less that was terrible. It's more or less a hope for someone to make a mistake, more than just achieving something. And I prefer achievements that are actually something you achieve, like get all stars in the stories, etc. Like that's a challenge set and you achieve it. And I think that one is more a wait for someone to fail and then you win it. And obviously you still need to achieve it by not failing. Well, that was a mistake. We're driving sloppy when I'm commentating like that. Anyway, it's putting in something like that and just hoping for the other person to fail until you get it is a bit, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it. And when he has a car 5 levels above, if you are anywhere near equal in skill and he's just not, someone who just literally can't drive, and that's just something where it's really not an achievement by you as much as a failure by the other guy. So that's not really something I particularly like, but that's just a personal gripe with it. That's not an issue with the game mode, obviously. So I really think, or hope, that they are going to do a better job with it in Horizon 5, because the map is going to be designed with the game mode in mind. And well, I'm gonna quickly grab a drink here. That's much better, or so I hope. And I think with the map design, and from what I've seen of the map, these kind of corridors don't exist. The map allows you to much more freely traverse it, which could make the game mode a bit more fun. So that's kind of the gripe I have with it, and the other gripe is the randomness of views and the sense that you're not quite sure where your destination is going to be. Now most duels are someone drives straight onto me and forces me into a duel, and then one guy has to turn around 180 degrees and that guy is more or less going to lose. Unless you are in that situation where you have a vastly superior car, but that's usually not the case. So when you have that situation, you can make an argument, yeah, whatever, but normally that really just wasn't the case. And it's usually the guy winning that kind of has the edge, like right at the start, and it's pretty rare that people completely bin it. I mean, it happens, you bin it into a tree because the track goes through an area where just everything is full of trees, and it's kind of hard to get through those. I'm just going to repeat that, it doesn't really matter, I just want to play something in the background for you. So it's not completely boring to watch. But this is something to listen to, most likely. Anyway, the thing that I would change, and that really gave me the idea for this video, is when you duel someone, you are both placed at a fictional starting line that is like right where you guys started the duel, and the game creates a route for you with checkpoints, like a regular race basically, that you have to drive against each other. Now obviously if the map in Horizon 5 allows for a better free roam way of playing the game, that's not necessary. But the way the map is designed in 4 with these corridors, I think it would just be way more fun for everyone to just have more of a map and layout where you are just supposed to duel in an actual race, rather than the guy wins who doesn't bin it in a tree when going through the forest. I mean, that's one skill, but it's not very satisfying in my opinion the way it is right now. And I think that would have been an improvement. Now you could argue you make set points from where the races start, so you don't need the game to calculate races all the time, and that would make sense, so you just plaster like, I don't know, 25 spots on the map, and it just transports you to the closest, and you race there. Also obviously based a little bit on where the circle is. So that would make sense, but generally speaking, that is something I would like to see in this game. Now obviously this is not going to happen, we're not going to change the way Eliminator works in Horizon 4. If anything, we're going to make adjustments in 5, but even there I think the formula is fairly set. It's just an idea that I had that I wanted to share, and I'm intrigued what you guys think about it. And also for the final race, I would... Didn't we do the same exact thing last race? Anyway, for the final race I would also like to just have everyone placed in a final race, like a final showdown. You can make it a free roam thing in the final showdown. If that's, like, if you insist on doing that, then fine. You can even make it a free roam type deal in the other idea that I had, but it would already be an improvement to at least give people fair starting positions and not have one guy already going where the goal is going to be and the other guy driving into the completely opposite direction and being or starting majorly on the back foot. It has a randomness factor to it that I just don't like, where you very realistically might lose to someone who is worse than you, and you are catching up and you're doing better, but you still lose because your starting advantage, or disadvantage in that case, was too big. Obviously it goes both ways, it's just, yeah, you sometimes profit, you sometimes don't, and in the end it's probably going to balance out, but it's just not, that's not how I like the game design. I don't want something to balance out, I want something to be balanced out from the start. it's not always going to be 100% possible, but maybe that would be an idea, and maybe you think so too. Maybe you can even let me know. And yeah, for the final race as well, just place the last remaining drivers on a start line, give them a point, and then either have them do an actual race or whatever it is. And if you truly insist on the free roam thing too, because like you think that's the way to go, fine, whatever. Like, just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for other people, right? So, but I still think it would be better to just have everyone at least having the same starting position and then start into that, as opposed to some people just being out of the race before it even starts. So obviously that's still the case with the car drops, or you just don't have a car that's properly suited when you're not going to do it, but it's just the way it is designed right now has some issues, and I think that would at least improve it. So yeah, you can let me know what you think, and until next time, hope you enjoyed, and farewell.